Good morning. Surangi, thank you very much for that generous introduction. This is Surangi Jayawardena, Dean of the Faculty, Professors, Heads of Departments, Academic Staff, the Administrative Staff, Support Staff, Coordinator of the program, and dear students. At the outset, may I thank the Dean and the Faculty Board for the invitation extended to me to deliver this year commencement lecture, which I consider as an honor and privilege. When the Dean invited me to make this presentation, I was wondering what should be the topic. And I decided to address few issues or areas that may be relevant and important. And also at the same time, I will try to put forward few quotes or comments made by eminent, famous personalities and also religious leaders. I am sure that these are the issues I might like to highlight are nothing new. Every day we talk about them, and of course action-wise very little action is being taken. I am sure that today is a D-Day for all of you. Many years of sacrifice and hard work has produced the desired results. Equally, your parents, your family members, and the well-wishers must be equally happy. You are indeed very lucky and fortunate to be one of the 27,500 or so students out of about 300,000 students who sat the advanced level examination to be selected to one of the 15 universities in Sri Lanka. To say it in a different form, you are one of the 18% of the students who were selected to be in one of the state universities. While being very happy about your achievement, and we like to congratulate you all, and I am sure that all the staff in the faculty and your senior students are eagerly waiting to welcome you. At the same time, I would like to kindly request you to think about the balance 82% of your brothers and sisters who are not that fortunate. Not because they didn't do well and their results were not good, because the capacity in the state universities are not sufficient to accommodate them. And if you look at Sri Lanka, the gross enrollment rate to our universities is only 7%. That is, take in the population who should be the universities, 19 to 26 years. So just 7%. So you are one of the 7%. If you take all the other so-called private, I know that a lot of us don't like to use that word, private universities, institutes, etc. Even if you take those, still we will reach only 17%. So dear students, just think about others. Don't have a narrow vision, tunnel vision. Don't be selfish. What do you expect them to do? What are their options? What are their choices? I hope you will think about that. To me, the answer is obvious. I don't think we should ask this government or any government to allocate 20 to 25% of the GDP for education. That is never going to happen. So we have to be realistic and think about others. They like to receive higher education, it is their right, but opportunities are not available. How to create the opportunities? I can talk more about this subject, but I think it is not the correct time. So anyway, you are in the Faculty of Medical Sciences, University of Jayewardenepura, one of the 7 faculties. Winston Churchill, I am sure you must have heard about this great leader. He once said, I quote, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that cause." So you have achieved one of the main barriers, but that is not the final goal. From today onwards, what matters is the courage to continue your academic work plus other non-academic activities at this faculty, one of the best faculties in Sri Lanka. So during this period of 5 years, obviously, initially there will be a period of adaptation. You are in new surroundings, new characters, infrastructure is different. So there are obviously differences between your school, this university, and differences between this university and your village or family background. So that is of course nothing new. We all have experienced this period of adaptation. Even when you buy a new car, wristwatch, move to a new house, a job, there will be a period of adaptation. What is important is during this period of adaptation to acquire, to collect only the good things, so-called good things. These things can be of many fold and not the bad ones. And the adaptation period also can be different. Some might within few days adapt to the new environment. Some might take little bit longer. So there is no need to worry about it. And also during this period, good company is also important. And all of you already must have acquired some of the life skills and the critical thinking ability. These skills should be used during this period of adaptation and do the right things. And please do not forget the acquired good values at school, at home, in your temple, in your village, etc. Because sometimes some students think differently. So we should not forget these good values. In fact, what we should try to do is to enhance, rebuild on those good values. And I am aware that in most of the universities, the first fear during this period of adaptation is this issue of ragging. But already you may have been told, as far as our faculty is concerned, this issue is not there, and so there is no need to worry about it. Equally, I don't know whether you are aware about the Parliamentary Act about ragging. So if there are any of these activities, I am very familiar with them because I worked as the proctor for about 5 years. So it is your duty to bring these matters to the notice of the relevant authorities. And during this period, please do not forget to get advice and support from relevant groups. Martin Luther King, a quote from Martin Luther King, "The time is always right to do what is right." Time is always right to do what is right. So during this period of adaptation and even after that, every time is the correct time to do what is right and not what is wrong. When you take the university, the peaceful atmosphere is very crucial, and most of your parents are very worried about this so-called peace in the university. For that matter, peace is important for advancement, for development in any place, home, village, country. And we saw the importance of peace few years ago, and even now when you look at Middle East, we can see the importance of the word peace. So it is your duty to support the university administration, faculty administration, and to ensure that you will support to maintain peace within the university. By doing so, you can continue your education uninterruptedly, and also we can earn the respect of the general public. This is a problem that we have with the general public. They say, well, what's the point in having universities? Most of the time universities are closed, which is not 100% true, but those are the perceptions. So we must try to change them. And during this period, especially Jayewardenepura University and the faculty, there are so many other extracurricular activities. They will support to maintain peace, and more than that, they will help you to relax, and they will help you to build up your health, concentrate on studies, etc. Please remember the importance of 3 R's to support your studies. Recreation, in other words, participation in activities like sports, drama, etc. Relaxation and rest. So try to concentrate on these 3 R's during coming years. I am sure that these will help and support your studies. Lord Buddha, one of his teachings, he said, I quote, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can. No one may. We ourselves must walk the path." So talking about peace in the university, it is you who will have to do it. Not the courts not the riot police, and so forth. So you will have to actively get involved and do what is necessary to ensure that there will be peace and happiness within the university. So these are some of the photos that I had in my collection. Some faculty extracurricular activities, a sport event. By the way, you are aware that in our faculty, there are three other study programs: BSc Nursing, PSc Medical Laboratory Sciences, and B Farm programs. So this is a photo of one of the, this is the first medical exhibition, or the only medical exhibition that we had in the faculty. I believe that there will be a exhibition very soon. I hope so. Called Vedasa. Some of the students are getting ready for the exhibition. Drama. You can see a few students singing and some taking part in one of the events. Sayura 2009, when I was the dean, students in the musical band and others singing. And I'm sure most of these must be doctors now. Another important activity in the faculty, I'm sure you will take part in this activity very soon. The social services program, Diri Aruna, a photo that we took when we had this program in Alkaduwa, Matale. Of course, another social service, usually annually we do this to collect money for the Diri Aruna. Probably still you are doing it. Another area, the faculty barriers. In a way, you are fortunate to have your faculty in the same compound with all the other faculties. It is slightly different to some of the other medical faculties. So you have to be with the other students of the 7 faculties. So please consider that all are equal. Because sometimes, unfortunately, not all, not the majority, but some students have this superiority complex, that we are superior, that kind. But I don't think you should think that way. Always try to build up friendships with others and participate in activities conducted by other faculties, and be friendly with them. And this will help to maintain happiness and peace in the university. So your motto should be happy and allow others to be happier during the coming 5 years. To support what I said, I used to quote made by Shakespeare: love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. So when you associate others, this is what you should do. But according to Shakespeare and according to others also, you must not trust all of them, but trust only few of them. Few words about challenges and failures. Every day we face challenges and failures. To me, the biggest challenge now is driving on our roads. It's a nightmare. So much so that I do try my best not to drive the car, because it's a challenge. At my age, sometimes it's difficult. So you should learn to face the challenges, especially in the education field. So mistakes and failures are common. Every day it happens. To us also it happens. So when you go to sometimes to hospitals to look after patients, sometimes of course we do mistakes, not intentionally, but due to various unavoidable reasons we might make mistakes. Then in the workplace sometimes we might make mistakes. So that can happen. And these mistakes or the failures must stimulate you to overcome them. And these failures and challenges may be considered as also ingredients in growing wise and reaching maturity. When you have failures, always you should seek support, maybe from your friends or maybe from staff members or parents, whoever it is. And of course there's famous saying, failures are the pillars of success. I don't think you can find anybody who has not met failures, including the religious leaders, world leaders, everyone. So that is nothing unusual. What is important is identify your failures and take remedial measures to prevent failures, similar failures taking place in the future. A quote from Albert Einstein, a famous physicist. I quote, "A person who never made a mistake, never tried anything new." Another quote from Dr. Kalam, one of the famous or the father of nuclear science in India, one of the former presidents. Don't read success stories. You will get only a message. Read failure stories. You will get some ideas to get success. So when you have failures, you should read about the failures. Then only you will be able to be a successful person. Another issue that I would like to highlight is accountability. We have a serious problem with accountability. Especially in Sri Lanka, no one is accountable for anything. If you listen to the comments inside the parliament, sometimes we have to ask this question, who is responsible? So no one is responsible. So we are indeed very famous for this blame mother culture. Blame others culture. Not you, anybody else is responsible. So talking about our roads, you may have witnessed, they break all the rules possible when they drive a vehicle. But if you stop and ask what they are doing, they will scold the other person and go. So that kind of a culture we have. So as I said, we can make mistakes. But we should have the ability, capacity. We should be humble enough to accept that. Especially you are going to be doctors. As I said, when we treat patients, sometimes we make mistakes. We go to do surgery and not intentionally, cut something else, accident. But we are responsible. So in those instances, when you do face this problem, you should have the decency to say sorry. I'm sorry, I did not do this intentionally. It was unavoidable. I'm very sorry about this. It is a very good quality. And if you do so, it can change the negative attitudes of other people against you. And equally, it can save the guilty conscience that you might have. I'm sure these people who make mistakes and say various things without saying sorry, I don't think they are in a position to sleep in the night, most of these guys. Because they know that they have done something. So this is very important for doctors. And most of the complaints, most of the litigations, court cases are because of this. So when we make a mistake, we must go to the patient, go to the relatives and others and say sorry and try to explain things to them. So this is important, accountability. A quote from Abraham Lincoln. I quote, "You can fool all the people some of the time." You can fool all the people some of the time, especially the politicians. And some of the people all the time. But you cannot fool all the people all the time. So there is a day you will have to give a break. So try to inculcate this good quality from day one in the faculty. Stress is another important area. Stress is everywhere. Nothing unusual. And I'm sure you also might have some degree of stress after coming to this new environment, university. But that is a reality. Of course, some people say that little bit of stress is good also, because that will boost your achievements. But each individual should know where to draw the line. And seek support and help. Of course, there may be other methods to overcome stress. Meditation and extracurricular activities, humor, cracking jokes with friends. There may be activities like this also. But whatever you do, if you think that the red line has crossed, you should seek support and help. Otherwise, we know that stress can interfere with your studies. It can affect your health, gastritis, one name, things like depression. So therefore, if necessary, seek advice. A quote about stress. Next time you are stressed, take a step back. Inhale and laugh. Next time you are stressed, take a step back, inhale and laugh, not cry. Remember who you are and why you are here. To you, answer is obvious. You are never given anything in this world that you cannot handle. Be strong. Be flexible. That is also important. Be strong, but be flexible. Love yourself. and love others. Always remember, just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward, not backwards, not leaving the campus, etc., not leaving the job. And we have faced these situations even now. I am also facing this situation, so nothing unique. So please remember, it's a very interesting and useful quote. Next time you are stressed, take a step back, inhale and laugh. Remember who you are and why you are here. You are never given anything in this world that you can't handle. Be strong, be flexible, love yourself and love others. Always remember, just keep moving forward. About the teaching system in the faculty, I'm sure you will come to know about many areas of the teaching system in the faculty during the next few weeks. But I want to highlight few important areas. In the school, most of the time, you are in one classroom, maybe another laboratory or two. But in the faculty, there are many lecture theatres, many tutorial rooms and so forth. And when you start your clinical work, hospital, so many places in the hospital, ward, theatre, clinic, etc., etc. So you have to get adapted to this, not going in the morning, sitting in one classroom and go home end of the day. So here you have to run from one place to another. In the school, probably you had one teacher for a subject, I believe. But here for a subject, you have so many staff members. Their styles may be different. Their approach may be different. And so you'll have to get used to these teachers. And later on, the key teacher in our discipline is the patient. I don't know whether you have read, there was one interesting article recently about this area written by another senior consultant. So in our discipline, please keep in mind that the patient is the most important teacher. And of course in the faculty, we have various modules, integrated curriculum, and those words are there, and this will be discussed later on. One area that I would like to draw your attention is in the class, in the school, teachers came and they may have given so-called a lecture. But nowadays, medicine or otherwise, in the modern university system, the place for these so-called face-to-face or didactic lectures, they are of less importance. I am not saying that they are not important, you should not cut lectures, I believe still 80% is there. And there was a debate whether to remove the 80%, but I think you have not still removed the 80% minimum requirement. Anyway, the other activities, they are called the student-centered learning. That is the word used in the modern university system, where the students participate, tutorials, small group discussions, and various other activities are there. So you'll have to give importance to these activities, not the lecture, equal importance, because those will promote your knowledge and your skills. So in the new curriculum, well, it's not really new in that sense. So you get the opportunity to visit hospitals and meet patients very early. That is important. About the examinations. Now up to advanced level in schools, probably you had to answer few questions. They are so-called knowledge plays, basically the lower level of the pyramid. Knowledge was tested. But in the faculty, especially professional fields, you will have to get used to this other examination instruments where we test your ability for critical thinking, your ability to perform so-called perform-based assessments. To be a good doctor, that is your final aim in the faculty. You should develop that, not to only answer questions. So that skill has to be developed in coming years. And of course, in the medical faculty, I don't think there is tuition as such. In the school, I know that a lot of our children, or all the children for that matter, from grade 1 they go for tuition classes. When I was a student, we never have heard about tuition class. We didn't know what these tuition classes are. Later on only, this became a kind of a fashion in the field of education. But of course, you might have these still senior students who might try to come and help you. I think these are referred to as OP classes, unless the culture has changed. My time, well, I think they might be able to help you to some extent. But of course, still there are no so-called tuition classes. It's a quote from Bill Gates, the owner of the Microsoft company. He was the richest, number 1 in the list. Now I believe he's number 2. We all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve. We all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve. So what I want to highlight is, during this period of study, feedback is important. You can't just read or do something and forget about it. Always the feedback. With whom? Could be anybody. It could be a teacher. It could be a friend. It could be a patient. It could be a nurse, anybody. But there has to be a feedback about what you have learned, about what you have performed, and the degree of acceptance. You might think that you are marvelous. But when you go to this feedback only, you will understand that there are areas for improvement. So what is the road to success? I know that your road ends at the MBBS as far as the faculty is concerned. And most of us, all the time when we talk about road to success, we concentrate heavily on hard skills. There are 2 types of skills: hard skills, soft skills. I will mention few about them later on. So you have heard the word IQ. Usually IQ is directly linked to hard skills. And hard skills are of course important. Degree is also important. At the same time, you must keep in mind that the wealthiest in the world, the leading entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka and other countries, they have never entered the university. No degree. Including Bill Gates, including the inventor of Apple computers, Mr. Steve Jobs, and many others. You take Sri Lanka, many leading entrepreneurs. In fact, recently there was a conference where Institute of Management, where they invited these leading entrepreneurs. No university degree. They were asked to make a presentation on how they reach this level. What is their success story? So that was a very interesting gathering. So all these people had this other side, other skills called soft skills. Even for a doctor, to be a good professional, to be a successful doctor, it is very important for us to acquire the soft skills. Another linked word is EQ, emotional intelligence, or EI. So while we concentrate heavily on IQ, we also should concentrate on soft skills and EQ. If you look at the vision, mission of leading foreign universities, we only say we want to be the best in South Asia or something like that. But they talk in terms of this. What is your vision? We want to produce a doctor with character. We want to produce a graduate with soft skills and humane values. Those are their vision and the mission. So world is changing. So please keep this in mind. And if you read newspapers, listen to the public. If you are listening to the budget speech, but I am not saying everything in the budget speech was good, but this issue was addressed. Most of the time they say, especially Sri Lankan graduates, in general, if you listen to the private sector, they have a problem. Your graduates, they don't have the soft skills that we want to make our company a leading company in the country, or for that matter world. So there is a problem, we have to accept that. And also talking about success, especially in medicine or otherwise, this area of continuous professional development. You have joined this profession, join the faculty, you want to be a doctor, be in tasks. It is your choice. So now there is no way that you can take a U-turn and go back. So from today, continuous professional development will have to be there. There is no way that you can stop learning, studying, reading, etc. So it is a lifetime activity. A quote from Henry Ford, I don't know whether you know about him. He is the entrepreneur who was the owner of the company at the beginning. He said, I quote, "Anyone who stops learning is old, whether 20 or 80. So I suppose it will apply to me also. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. Some extent may be true to me also. So please remember, anyone who stops learning is old, whether 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. So now you are inside the circle. So you have to keep on boxing. You can't move out. So these are some of the hard skills that I was talking about, knowledge, clinical skills, and of course there are various other technical skills. It may depend on the profession. Engineers, accountants, IT specialists, and so forth. So, as I said, we concentrate a lot about IQ. So here we are talking in terms of an educated person, so-called Ugata. In Sinhala we say Ugate. That means good IQ. So recently also it was said, we don't want Ugatas. Okay, we can have Ugatas, but that is not the top priority. What do we want? Not the we, the people. They want a buddhimati or a wise man. There is a difference between a wise man and an educator. There is a difference between a Ugata and a Buddhimata. So Buddhimata is the person. He might have IQ, not to your level, but he is very strong. That person, he or she is very strong with the soft skills. This is how people, the wealthiest, most generous, Bill Gates, for an example, is the leading donor for charity. In fact, recently he has said that all his wealth will be handed over for charity, not for his children. Billions of dollars. So soft skills, endless. There are about 50, 80 groups, subgroups, etc. Many soft skills. I have listed some of them, which are relevant to medicine. Things like communication skills, teams building, honesty, empathy, integrity, and so forth. It's a long list. What is important might depend on where you are, the setting, where you are working, with whom you are talking. So the importance will go up and down. If you are with a patient, empathy, communication skills are very, very important. And we know where we stand with regard to communication skills. On the road, workplaces, etc., we know how Sri Lankans perform. So please concentrate. Sometimes it is not that easy to acquire soft skills. Hard skills, knowledge skills. For an example, I can teach a medical student or anybody to do the cardiovascular system examination. As someone said, famous surgeon said, I can teach a butcher to do a laparotomy. So those are skills you can teach, but not soft skills. Very difficult. And hard skills are measurable. Soft skills very difficult to measure. So there are differences. But what I want to highlight is, you should think and concentrate that EQ and soft skills are equally important. From day one in the faculty, you should use the opportunities. Use the people you might meet to acquire the soft skills. At the same time, there are so-called role models, maybe in the faculty, maybe in the hospital. But Sri Lanka also there's a problem with the so-called role models. But anyhow, so you'll have to follow them. And I think in the faculty there is a special stream called personal and professional development. So our faculty took leadership. Please remember that. To promote soft skills among medical students. And also you can, if you have some free time, of course I do this very frequently, go through the print media. That will give a hint about the soft skills. And if you read the newspapers, you will realize that most of the time, the complaints against doctors, the dissatisfaction against doctors, is not because they have given the wrong drug or they have done the wrong operation, that kind of thing. No. දොස්තර මහත්තයාගේ පරක් වෙලා පොලිමේ පැය 4යි. Private sectors. Or he didn't explain my problem. He was very harsh, Benna, and that kind of thing. So please keep this in mind. So we have our own dreams. The parents will have their own dreams. So what about the dreams of our patients? Anyway, they are our customers or clients or whatever called in legal jargon. So when you concentrate on the dreams of patients, you must remember that medicine is an art and a science. It is not only a science. Engineering, IT, maybe even accountancy, maybe most of the times science. But here it is an art and a science. And also it is something that is practiced by not one individual, by a group of individuals. So therefore you should learn to work in teams. And when it comes to patients, as I said, a patient in the ward, they will value not only your clinical competence, they also value your soft skills such as humanity, caring, concern, etc. So it is said that in our profession, it is easy to treat an illness. If you have the correct knowledge, say infection, if you know the correct antibiotic, you can. But patients-wise, they expect you not only to cure, but to be a healer, which is not easy. It is there is a difference. Say engineer, he will have to construct a building. That's it. The other part is not there in that sense. So therefore, you will have to address these issues, and please remember, even today it is valid. Even when I was a child, I can remember this saying, "Dostara Mahatya dakkat lede sanipa veno." Actually, it should not be Dostara Mahatya, it should be Veda Mahatya. Because you go and speak to him. I had a senior friend in Kandy who was a general practitioner. He used to say this, his job is to talk to them. So that is because of the soft skills. And so this is the dream of our patients. It's a quote from Mother Teresa, sorry. And I'm sure you know who she is. She said, I quote, "Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier." She said, better and happy also. Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, kindness in your smile. So just look at this photo which I got from the web. What is happening? Nursing sister is checking the blood pressure. As I said, we can teach anybody to check the blood pressure. I am sure in physiology you will learn to check the blood pressure very soon. But in this photo, there is important other information. This is the expectation of the patient. You can see, if you look at this later on, think about this, you can identify about 10 soft skills here. Eye contact, facial expressions, as in the code says, kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, kindness in your smile, everything is there. So really, this is the expectation of our patients. But I must admit that it is something difficult to achieve. It is much more easier to train a person to do a complicated operation. This is a problem and difficult. So the dream of the patients, so finally, what is the dream of the country? So you have your dream, parents, friends, patients, country. End of the day, it is our country. As you are aware, you have received free education from grade 1 up to university level, 5 years again. If you join the postgraduate Institute of Medicine to do specialization, another 5 years, 20 plus. Our calculation for a medical undergraduate is around 2.5 lakhs rupees. Say, shall we say 300,000? Underestimate. No cost calculated for all clinical training, all support that we get from all other consultants. So it is and you know, I know, to get a degree of this recognition, it will cost you 15 to 20 million. So anyway, up to date and even in the future, the nation, the country, the people will support you. Anyway, who are the people who are supporting you? If you are listening to the budget speech, answer is there. Not the rich people, not the elite, not the top companies in Sri Lanka. They provide a small proportion to the treasury. The majority are the poor, lower income taxpayers or who pay an indirect tax. Plenty, pound of bread and so forth. So they are the people who are, so you should have a mindset from today, not after passing out. I can guarantee you that you will not be able to do that. I have seen people who went in that, who took that path, giving priority to wealth. Of course, wealth is important, there is no question about it. But not at the expense of everything else. So you have a national duty. Whatever you do later on, it should benefit the poor patients. I am not talking about the elite who go to leading private hospitals in Sri Lanka or for that matter Singapore and other countries. I am talking about the average man and woman. You should have that mindset from today, which is a difficult thing. And always look back. and look at the people who have contributed immensely to the country. And even I have some teachers, even now, they were not interested in it. So I hope you will give something back to the country. I will wind up with this famous quote from one of the popular presidents of America, John F. Kennedy. Famous quote. I quote, "My fellow Americans," I might say my fellow Sri Lankans, of course I am not president, "ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." So, to change the wording to suit the occasion, my dear students, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country and the university. So with those words, may I conclude, and before I wind up, may I once again thank the Dean and the staff members for inviting me, and thank you very much for your patience hearing, and may I wish all the new students all success, happiness, and I hope all your dreams will come true. Please, in addition to studying, please enjoy your 5 years of university life, which I enjoyed. Of course, at Peradeniya, it's a different environment and so forth, very much. So, find free time and enjoy the university life. Thank you very much.